Welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week we are checking out the last movie in the MCU's Phase 3, Spider-Man Far From Home. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy.
Oh, yeah, you were asking why I got the collector cup
Yes.
yesterday.
Yeah, because you said you would stop getting those after.
After a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it just got to the point where you just have a bunch that you never use.
Yeah.
No, I got it for two reasons. Because while I was waiting in line, I saw the Mysterio figure, and I was like, oh, I kind of want that. There's that reason. And then there was two guys behind me in line who were discussing, like, you can buy alcohol at the theater now.
Mm-hmm.
And they've obviously not been to the theater in a while because it was a new thing for them. And so they were just kind of discussing it. And I bet you it costs an arm and a leg. And so finally they saw the price and they're like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's not bad for domestic beer. It's better than that sugary poison that people put in their body. And so I got up to the counter and I was like, give me the biggest drink you have.
Just out of spite.
Yeah.
Screw those guys.
Yeah.
Grown ass man. Drink whatever you want.
That's right. I can put sugary poison in my body if I want to.
Drinking a Manhattan tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Double cherried.
It's actually real good. My first sip was real bitter, but I've gotten used to it. It's good.
Don't you love those drinks where they taste terrible and then your body gets used to it?
Mm-hmm.
Quote unquote.
It's like a cold pool.
What?
You know, when you get into a cold pool and you're like, this is freezing.
Oh, right.
And then eventually you're just like, this is really
I
nice.
thought you were talking about like drinking a cold pool. Like,
Yeah, you've ever drink a cold pool.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
Actually, speaking of pools, so it was Canada Day this past weekend.
Yeah.
And to cool off in the sun, we had a kiddie pool. We filled it up for my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And she absolutely did not want to do it at all.
Really?
And so I got in to be like, hey, look, it's fun. And I was like playing with the toys and stuff like that. Didn't want to go. And then she just went inside. And then so it was just me sitting in a kiddie pool by myself, which was kind of relaxing, but it was also like, yeah, neighbors walked by and stuff. And you're just like, yep.
Oh.
Anyway, how's your Canada Day, Victor? What'd you do?
Girlfriend and her friends and I we rented a cottage about 5 hours up north. It reminded me of a cabin you would see in a horror movie.
Not kept up well at all.
It looked like the guy, he had the entire half of the lake to himself. Like he built a bunch of cottages on this side of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So he has 7 cottages. Number 6 was one we stayed in. It definitely looked like it was built by hand. None of the walls were like
Completed.
You can see all the screws. The mud room still had insulation exposed.
I loved how this is like the creepy cabin in the woods, but it has a mud room.
Oh yeah. They're not animals, Josh.
You need somewhere to take off your coat when you're running away from a serial killer.
You know those like beds you have for cribs? Or like they have that plastic cover on top. It's like a liner.
Yep. Rubber sheets.
Yeah. 3 of the beds upstairs had that cover on it.
That's just good practice though.
And all the blankets they had available were like, it looked fine on them from the front, but then you turned it around and there was just like a bunch of stains on it.
Those rubber sheets are starting to make a little bit more sense now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. There's like, we chose our room, but then when we opened up the closet, we found all the pieces that were supposed to be on the bed. And I guess the bed's slowly falling apart and the people who were staying there renting it just like stuffed them into the closet.
Pieces on the bed? Like pieces of the frame?
Yeah. So it used to have like this, I guess, like a post on either at the end of the bed.
Okay.
Both of those had fallen off. There's like felt sides that like cover the edges so you didn't like scrape your thigh as you got out of bed. Those are gone. And we may have broke the headboard.
Okay.
Not doing anything like crazy, but like
Just playing Twister, right?
honestly, I just jumped onto bed because I was like, yeah, bedtime.
And to be clear, you weigh like 45 pounds or something like that?
Like a small teenager, like 130.
Yeah, I think they need to start replacing some stuff. But you got it for free though, right? Did you pay rent on the cottage?
I wasn't supposed to pay rent, but the girlfriend forgot, so I ended up paying for it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll pay for you, Victor. No worries. Oops. Can you just take out some money?
That is shockingly accurate for an impression of her,
Right?
right? Like I thought
For
she was
someone who
here. Like I closed my eyes for a second and I was like, whoa, when did she show up?
Right? For someone you've never met.
Yeah.
Just like her. 5.5 hours
For
to get
that.
molested by mosquitoes.
Okay, phew. I'm glad you finished that sentence. This really was a horror movie.
Oh man. Like actually one of the girls is like, this house is too creepy.
Finish the sentence, please.
This house is too creepy. I'm going to go sleep in my car. So she,
All right.
yeah, you sleep in the car and like you wake up
And there's like a hook hand in the car door. Yeah, that's the worst.
in the car door.
Yeah.
Usually in.
And your boyfriend's hanging from the tree above you. Oh,
Well, good thing she's single.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Finish your sentence.
And like you wake up and it's just condensation all over the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently it was pretty rough. She came in like immediately showered.
Gross.
Imagine you drive 5.5 hours to go sleep in a car.
Yeah.
We saw the pictures. We're like, all right, this looks sketchy. Maybe the location was worth 5.5 hours driving. It was not.
Did it have like rusty tools on the side of the cottage?
It was a rusty saw.
That's
was
a
a-
tool.
There was a shed right outside the house, and it was just filled with old bottles, cans.
Was there a tire swing or like a rope just hanging from a tree branch that maybe had a swing on it at one point?
Or a noose?
Or a noose?
No, there wasn't. There was a door that was locked that we couldn't get into in the house.
That's where the dead bodies are. Was there like an old kind of hillbilly type guy who warned you as you were going in, like at the gas station? He was like, "There's evil there." And you're like, "Thanks, creepy old guy."
Honestly, if we saw it, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense after seeing the cottage. That sounds about right. Really nice people, though.
Yeah, they're always nice until they're not.
Oh, and none of the cottages had a door that locked.
Why would you need that? right?
Exactly,
It's the
right?
wilderness.
No signal, no Wi-Fi, nothing.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
I went to this like boarding thing for Canada Day where they did a citizen affirmation ceremony.
That doesn't sound like a thing.
It's not really. It means nothing. But basically what it was, they had this one girl come around with, it was like an Aboriginal thing of what kind of power does that? And it was like smoke was coming out of the bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like
idea what you did.
sage.
Yeah.
Or something was burning. And you're supposed to like rub it over your face and your ears and your head and your heart or something. I can't remember what it was for. I didn't do it.
So your upper torso.
You do your eyes, your ears, your heart, and then all over.
I feel like just doing it all over would have just covered everything.
Yeah,
You just-
but I don't know. Anyway, so I could be wrong, but I was watching the ceremony and the person who was leading that part of it, I was like, "You're not Aboriginal." Like she looked a little bit too pale. You know what I mean? Looked a little bit too Caucasian. So my question to you, is that culture appropriation? I feel like, I don't know, because culture appropriation is such a wide thing and there's good and bad parts of that. It's usually thought of as negative, but
Honestly, for me, I don't see that as a negative. I just see it as weird.
yeah.
I don't find that offensive. It's just strange. It'd be like me going down for like Chinese New Year celebration and some white dude is presenting like the entire thing. Yeah.
So that was the weird part of it. That wasn't the citizen affirmation thing. The citizen affirmation thing was just like a vow that you raise your right hand and you're like, "I pledge allegiance to."
That's your left hand, Josh.
I didn't say raise your right hand, did I?
You did.
No. My hand's all the way over here. You expect me to lift that?
You lifted the other one.
So you raise your right hand and you go like, "I pledge allegiance to Canada and I promise to be a good citizen," and blah, 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 blah. And,
Exact words.
but there was one part of it where I was just like, I don't know if I still agree with that. And it was, "I pledge allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II." And I was like,
Also, this is strange that she's been in power so long that like her son might not get the throne.
he's already got the senior discount. Like, yeah, I bet you he's just like, "Seriously, Mom, you couldn't have died last year."
She doesn't have to die. She could just hand over the throne to him.
That's true. But really, what kind of power does that come with? He just gets to be called king.
That's fucking wicked.
That is pretty cool. Well, that's the show for this week.
Got nothing else.
No, should we get into the news?
Oh, yes. Let's do the news.
Sure. Victor, another set of directors was fired off of The Flash.
What?
I think this is 3 and 4.
Fired?
now?
Fired. Or quit.
Is a strong word. I don't know. I think it was just they left the project. They now have Andy Muschietti, who directed the first It movie.
Okay. Wait, who was the two that got fired?
One of them was John Francis Daly, and then his writing partner, who I am blanking on his name now, but
What did they do?
they did Game Night and the newer Vacation movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're more like comedy guys. I think they did Horrible Bosses, or maybe they just wrote it. But anyway, I was looking forward to the Flash movie with them in charge, and so I'm a little bummed that they've left the project. But
Yeah, that's a good sign,
Ezra Miller's still the Flash, though, so there's that.
I guess. I was only lukewarm with him being the Flash.
Yeah, I don't care if they replace him. He made some weird choices in Justice League.
Like that weird run.
That was one of the aforementioned weird choices.
So when's the movie gonna be out?
I don't know, man.
20
Because they have to start from basically square one again.
2030?
Yeah, that's a good bet.
Okay, let's see. We're on directors 5 now.
I think so, yeah.
5 isn't a good number. 6, I don't know. 6 sometimes works, but 7, that's lucky number 7 right there.
Ooh.
And it's like what, a director every year they go through?
Yeah, something like that every 8 months.
So it's another, what, 2 years? It'll be 2021. And then they'll probably fire Ezra Miller because
he'll have aged out of the part.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to go through a couple of different scripts.
Yeah, they have a new writer too. I didn't write down their name.
You didn't write down the new writer's name?
No. Why would I bother?
What do writers even do?
At this point, I don't care if they replace Ezra Miller. Do you even want to see a Flash movie at this point? Or are you I'm kind of indifferent. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care about any of the DC movies now. Because right now they're branching that Batman movie off. It's like, okay, so is that you saying you guys don't care about the Justice League movies anymore?
I'm kind of fine with the direction they're going of just like finding people to make movies and then figuring out whether it's connected or not, like as they're doing it, instead of being like, this is the Batman movie. This is going to be the definitive Batman. He's going to be part of the universe for the next 15 years. I like what Marvel's doing a lot, but I don't want to see another Marvel. You know what I mean?
I do, but
it's like I can only eat so much chocolate ice cream. Please also give me a brownie on the side. This is a weird metaphor.
Yeah, I don't understand.
That's what Manhattans do to me, Victor. I get into weird metaphors.
I don't know.
It's like a race car, Victor. There's 4 wheels and a steering wheel and maybe a driver. You know what I'm saying?
So it has 5 wheels. No, but like you can have a DCEU with characters that are connected and still done differently than Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Paint me a picture.
Well, you know how like Iron Man 3 was like a Shane Black movie?
Yeah.
Well, you can have a Batman movie that is linked to the director with Batman tossed into the story. You know what I mean? Like it could still be his movie or her movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Marvel doesn't really do that. I mean, they do for a few. There's only like a few movies that have that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that Marvel does take big swings every now and then, like destroying S.H.I.E.L.D. or killing off half of their universe, revealing certain characters' identities, like Iron Man at the end. Like, I appreciate that they do that, but oftentimes they're handcuffed by what they are able to do. For example, you can't kill Spiderman at the end of the movie because he's going to be in the next Avengers movie, so you can't do that. Or like, for example, they do let them take big swings, but then they immediately retcon it. Like at the end of Iron Man 3, as you mentioned, he blows up all his suits, throws his arc reactor in the ocean, and then the next movie, he's just Iron Man again with no explanation.
He was itchy.
Anyway. What were we talking about? Flash.
Fine.
They're getting a new director.
Sure.
I liked it. Does that translate to Flash? Who's to say? Victor, I got some TV series news for you. Are you familiar with Neil Gaiman's Sandman comic series?
No.
Oh, you're missing out. It's good stuff. Anyway, they are adapting it for Netflix.
Oh, cool.
So the Sandman is about this guy named Morpheus, who is the Dream King. So he's like a god of sorts who is in charge of the dreaming of everybody on the planet.
Seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, but he does his job. The opening graphic novel for Sandman, he was imprisoned by humans. And so for like 60 years, I can't remember how long it was, it was without dreaming because he was captured, so he couldn't give people dreams. And so it was kind of interesting how the world evolved without dreams. And it's an interesting read. It's real kooky, and it's about this kind of all-powerful being
I do like Neil Gaiman. I like his stuff.
Yeah, he's kind of trippy sometimes. So
Mhm.
I don't know if I explained that well, but
You said it was a graphic novel?
it was an ongoing series. I don't know how long it lasted, but
Neil Gaiman, doesn't he normally write like sci-fi novels?
I think so. Is it Gaiman or Gaiman? We've been saying both.
Gaiman.
I think it's Gaiman.
Gaiman? I'm trying to think of the book I read of his.
He just did that one that just got adapted into a series, Good Omens.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so they're adapting that, and it's said to be Netflix's most expensive series that they're going to produce. And they've been trying to make this for a while, because I remember Joseph Gordon-Levitt for a while trying to make a movie out of it. I don't think he's connected to this one, but at one point he was trying to make it, and he wanted to play Morpheus. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting read. Even if you're not at all interested in the show, I definitely suggest picking up a few of the Sandman issues.
Yeah. Anyway.
Are you familiar with the Amazon Lord of the Rings series that they've been making?
Amazon Lord of the Rings? No, I've never heard of this.
Oh, really? Because it was a huge deal, like a huge financial deal. They won the bid. I think they paid like a couple $2 billion for the rights to make this show. Yeah, which is ridiculous because I think it was during the height of Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones was getting close to its end, and they were like, well, we need something to compete and replace it when it's gone. Amazon bought the rights to Lord of the Rings. So it's a TV series that takes place before Fellowship of the Ring, I think. So it's completely new stories. Anyway, the news of it is that they've gotten J.A. Bayona, who did Jurassic World 2. Okay. He's directing the first couple episodes, so he'll be setting a visual style of the
What's
show.
the release date for this?
I have no idea. I doubt there is one at this point. Like there hasn't been any casting or anything like that.
Oh, so it's that far. Okay. Amazon, Lord of the Rings. That's exciting.
Do you like Lord of the Rings?
I do.
See, I like Lord of the Rings, but I like the characters of Lord of the Rings. I don't know if I like the Middle Earth lore so much that I'd be like, yes, please tell me more about Lothlorien.
I don't know a lot about the lore, but like I am interested in it. Like whenever it shows up in like video games or movie format, like or like any side stories, like I tend to explore.
Okay.
Granted, a lot of it's kind of boring, especially with stuff with like between the humans and the elves.
I got a hot take for you. Tolkien, kind of a boring writer.
Yeah.
His plots are interesting and his characters are interesting, but he just goes into so much detail about what they did. Like and Frodo woke up and ate two eggs and a slice of bacon, and then he walked down the road, and his chest was still hurting from the other day when he got stabbed. And anyway, so he just goes into such detail that you're just like, come, just get to the next scene. Like,
yeah, I remember
care.
The Two Towers was kind of painful to get through.
Yeah,
good, great.
He just goes into too much detail. I should clarify that. He's not a boring writer, just too much information.
He lingers on a scene for too long.
Yeah, a lot of singing, which some would argue that's great for world building. But, you know, I'm a millennial, man. I need quick pace. My chapter needs to be 4 pages long.
Everything's just done in point form.
Yeah. Victor, there were some trailers this week.
Yeah, there were.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
Knives Out.
Knives Out? Let's do it.
What did you think about it?
It looks intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it made the edit, but I think we talked about it as one of my most anticipated movies of this year. Earlier when we did that episode. Yeah, I was really excited just based on the cast.
Yeah, who's in it?
Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, Toni Collette, Jamie Lee Curtis, Catherine Langford from 13 Reasons.
Wait, she's in it?
Yeah. Don Johnson, Christopher Plummer, keeps going on and on.
So the premise of this movie is it's a gathering of family to celebrate someone, but someone gets murdered, and Daniel Craig, the detective, gets called in, and everyone has to stay until the investigation is over.
Yeah, so it's thought that one of them murdered the father, who is the patriarch of the family.
Right, that sounds right. Yeah.
It just looks interesting. It just looks like a cool mystery with lots of interesting characters, and written and directed by Rian Johnson, who, because in the trailer they have it from Rian Johnson, the writer-director of Star Wars The Last Jedi and Looper. I don't know if I would brag about The Last Jedi. I didn't have any problem with the movie, but I feel like enough people did that would turn some people off from your movie.
Yeah, I knew the name sounded familiar, but now that you've mentioned that, it's like, crap. This movie has to be amazing for me to like win me back over for him.
Yeah, because you really hated The Last Jedi, huh?
It's just a lot of stupid decisions. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this movie. This is one of my like favorite types of movies. Like I like mystery, but like
a whodunit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like have you seen And Then There Were None? It was
No.
a BBC TV series of 3 episodes, and it's based off of the book of the same name.
Is that the guy who did the Maltese Falcon?
No, this was someone else. I can't remember who. But yeah, it's like 9 people get called to an island, and one by one they get picked off.
Mm-hmm.
They're all trying to figure out who's the killer.
Interesting.
And then same with like the Orient Express.
Agatha Christie novel, right?
Agatha Christie, yeah.
Yeah, that one was interesting.
Love that genre. It's not a very popular theme, which is good because you get more of them pretty quick.
Yeah. It does look interesting though. And it looks, although the last line of it, Chris Evans delivers it. And you know how like trailers, they do their whole trailer and then they're like, this is what it's called. This is when it's coming out.
Mhm.
And the final joke to really sell you on it. And the final joke is Chris Evans goes, what is this? CSI KFC? And then he just walks off screen. And then one guy goes like, huh. It's not a joke. That's not funny. Like, why is that your last line? That didn't sell me on it at all.
It's Captain America being a dick. Also,
Anyway.
you know what I hate?
What's that?
This trailer did it. They do like a teaser for the trailer that you're about to watch in front of the trailer.
Yeah, that's for like social media. You know how like when you're scrolling through Facebook and like the video starts like automatically
give
as
you
you're
like all
scrolling?
like the quick cuts of it just to give you an idea before to hook you in before you watch it.
Yeah. So like as you're scrolling, you go, oh, what was that? And you kind of scroll back up and watch the whole thing.
All right, but keep that crap to social media.
I agree. It's dumb, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or it's for like YouTube when you can skip in
Never
like
seen-
5 seconds or whatever. So you get 5 seconds of it. So it entices you to watch.
Glad we wasted 4 seconds of your life.
I like that though, because I find my YouTube, it always takes a second to correct its resolution to high definition. So it's like a little grainy during that. And then by the
I
time the
see.
trailer starts, it's caught up and it's now high
So
resolution.
you're using it as a buffer.
Yeah. To be clear, I totally hate it too, but I have found ways to love it.
What was the other trailer?
Jumanji 3.
Oh, right. The next level. Jumanji, the next level.
Yeah. What did you think of that one, Victor?
Pretty psyched about it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, as psyched as I was for the first one. In the sense that like it looks funny. I like Dwayne Johnson. I like Kevin Hart. So I like those guys. And I like the fact that Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart they're playing old dudes.
Yeah, I need to see more, I think. Because I was wondering how they were going to go back to this and like keep the same cast. And because right now it just feels like the same premise over, which I guess is what a sequel is. But it feels like the gimmick was The Rock is playing a nerd and, Jack Black's playing a 15-year-old girl. And so that was interesting. But now it's just like, oh, The Rock's playing an 85-year-old man. And, oh, Jack Black's playing a black guy.
Yeah.
And so it just, it feels the exact same. So
Were they the same actors for the kids?
Yeah.
Oh, they look really different.
they're probably a few years older.
Yeah, it probably makes more sense.
Anyway, that's all I really had to say about that.
Yeah.
It looks funny. I like all those actors. I'm just worried it's going to be the same movie. It's going to be Hangover Part 2.
Never saw it.
Oh, did you watch the first one?
Yeah.
You saw it.
Okay.
So move on to the topic. Are you dabbing?
Out of the way.
What are you doing?
What?
Are you dabbing while you yawn?
Oh, stretching, but yes, I guess I am dabbing. So, Josh,
So
finally happened. We watched Spider-Man Far From Home.
we sure did.
Want to do a quick non-spoiler review?
I liked it. What did you think, Victor?
I liked it. I liked Homecoming more.
Mm-hmm. Well, should we get into non-spoilers?
More spoilers?
Or more spoilers? Spoilers.
Spoiler review.
Let's do it.
Actually, you want to do a quick breakdown of the plot?
Sure, why not? Do it, Victor.
So this is a sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming and Endgame. Well, this happens pretty soon after Endgame.
I think it's 8 months, I think is what they said.
8 months.
Yarp.
Peter and his class are going on a field trip to Europe, visiting a few different cities.
In Europe.
Can't remember them all. Venice,
Prague.
Paris, Prague.
They never went to Paris. They talked about going to
They were
Paris, but
supposed to
then,
go to Paris.
yeah, they got changed. Germany. They went to Berlin.
Gross. Anyways, their trip gets hijacked by Nick Fury. He introduces him to Mysterio, who is from another dimension. And together they fight off the elementals that are invading Earth.
From another dimension.
The same elementals that invaded and destroyed Mysterio's dimension.
Yep, that's what you get from the trailers. But really, Mysterio is a bad guy.
Yeah, you find out he's a bad guy about, I'd say after the first act.
Probably about an hour into the movie.
Okay, yeah. Doesn't take long. It's kind of a cool way they do it.
Yeah.
Like we kind of knew, like.
Yeah, you want to get right into that?
I don't know. What'd you think about his introduction into the world of villainhood, villainy?
You want to try that again? What did I think of his introduction into the villainhood?
Villainhood?
The world of villainhood?
What'd you think of his entrance as the villain?
Like the twist, like the turn?
Yeah.
I really liked it. Because reading comics, we know Mysterio is a bad guy. We know he's full of crap. That's his thing. He's always lying. It's always some grand illusion or con. And the only thing I didn't know going into it, like, what's his play? Like, what is he after?
Yeah.
And as he was having that conversation with Peter in the bar, they had just beaten the last elemental. And Peter is talking about these glasses that Tony Stark has left him.
Yeah.
And they give Peter access to all of Stark's creations and projects and even a defense satellite.
Yeah, that's just hovering over Earth.
Yep.
That's just full of hundreds of drones.
Hundreds of drones. And he just gives that to a 16-year-old kid. Sure.
Yeah,
but anyway, as that scene was going, as soon as the glasses got mentioned, I was like, oh, okay, that's what he's after. And because he's such a good con man, the entire time he makes Peter think it's his idea to give him the glasses.
Yeah.
Like it's Peter's idea to give him. As it's going, you're just like, no, don't do it, Peter. That's what he wants. You're just playing right into him. But yeah, that was a good scene. And I like that. And then as soon as Peter leaves, they all kind of pause and like the bar that they're in kind of melts away and there's an illusion and like half the patrons disappear.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of gives a smile like, that wasn't so hard.
It's kind of cool though, because like they could have done that scene in an actual bar, just cleared it out. But like when the illusion disappears, all the AR stuff goes away.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's just like it looks like a dingy rundown bar. And we find out later it's the tech that Tony uses or he first introduces in Civil War that he nicknamed Barf.
Yeah.
Mysterio's team is made up of people that were wronged by Stark Industries. So like Quentin Beck, like that was his technology, Barf. He was pissed that like that technology was stolen from him and he was fired.
For being unstable.
Yeah. He doesn't really show that unstable part. He shows it a little bit in that scene, but like.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow.
And then as it progresses, you see like, oh yeah, Tony probably had that was probably a good idea.
There was the guy who did all the renderings and all the illusion effects. The guy behind like all the controls.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
he was one who designed the illusions in such a way that they affected the environment.
Yeah, but that was the bald guy with the glasses.
Box of scraps guy.
Yeah, that was the guy that Stain yelled at. I thought that was hilarious.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, in the first Iron Man movie, there's a scene where Obadiah Stane is trying to copy Stark's arc reactor. And this guy, William, is trying to tell Obadiah that he can't do it. And then Obadiah Stane yells at him,
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Anyway, so that guy from the first Iron Man is part of Quentin Beck's team.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing I didn't like about that scene. It was that they did the flashback to Iron Man. I liked that it was that guy. I have no problem that it was the box of scraps guy, but I didn't like that they were like, if they had just left it for the fans to be like, that's that guy. But instead it was like they wanted to brag that they brought him back in a way.
I don't think I would have appreciated that though. Cause like I wouldn't have gone back and watched this because I wouldn't have remembered that was him.
But it doesn't matter that it's him. You know what I mean?
But like it kind of does because they're making out that Mysterio is a product of Tony Stark's company firing people.
Right.
And they've all banded together to get back at him. But he's dead, so I don't know what they're getting.
I don't know. It was just a weird thing because they did the flashback for Quentin.
Yeah.
Where I guess he was at that MIT presentation where Stark talked about Barf.
Yeah.
And then they immediately do Williams flashback and they cut back to Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
And they do the box of scraps line. And then they don't do any more. And it's like, why don't you just make up some for these other guys? Like they go through like 3 more people. It's just a weird editing choice to just do 2 of them. I don't know. It's a nitpick. For me, it was just like, you can just let me enjoy that it was him. You had to like brag about it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But Anyway,
Mysterio basically picks out a plan to create a Avengers level threat so that he can fake kill it and then become like the next big hero.
well, yeah, because that's his whole point that he makes in his toast is that it doesn't matter if you're the smartest person in the room anymore. You have to be the smartest person in the room and be wearing a cape and shoot lasers.
Yeah.
His whole motivation was they're going to create a hero so people will actually start listening to him and his colleagues, which I really liked that. Like that's an interesting motivation for a villain.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've seen that before where they want to be the hero. So I guess that's Syndrome from Incredibles. That's exactly Syndrome. So I have seen it before, but I liked it there too. But it's interesting enough in the MCU that it was refreshing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just watching it just didn't remind me of any other movie I've seen in the MCU. It didn't felt like I was retracing beats.
But yeah, Mysterio I really liked him. He was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
What did you think of his second outfit, his mocap suit?
That was perfect.
Yeah, you liked it?
It looked goofy, but like it fit the theme of Mysterio.
Okay.
Because he's all illusions. He's all about because at one point they project the suit onto him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool that like his suit outside of the Mysterio suit was a motion capture suit. It'd be weird on any other villain, but for Mysterio, it fits.
Okay. Because I've heard lots of people praising it. I didn't really like it that much. But
No?
That's fine. You're allowed to have your own opinion.
What'd you think of the fishbowl?
Which one? Like the one on the mocap suit?
Yeah.
I mean, it works. I
That was cool.
I don't know. I just like the comic accurate suit. I thought it was so good. And then for the second half of the movie, it's like, oh, he's actually the villain now, but he's just wearing a mocap suit. I just wanted to see. Well, I guess he did wear that in his illusions.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I just liked that suit so much. I was like, oh, really? You're not using it? But I get it.
Well, it was being ironed. His cape was being ironed.
But I really liked him. He probably wasn't as like nuanced as Vulture was, but he's just so charming. First as the hero, and then like in a maniacal sort of way, he's kind of charming too.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish that we had more of was his team. I wish there was more of the realization that he's going further than they had talked about. Because everyone was, as you said, they're disgruntled employees from Stark Industries, but I feel like not all of them would be like, yeah, I didn't like that I got fired. Let's go kill hundreds of people.
Yeah. Because the plan was to basically like do a massive attack that would have a ton of casualties. Basically, the more casualties, the bigger the hero Mysterio will look when he comes in and saves the day.
Yeah. Like it just had to be like people like kind of giving each other like quick side glances being like, is he serious about this?
Or if he just killed a guy.
Yeah.
That was like, no, you know what? I'm leaving.
That was the only thing I wanted more of out of him. But it still worked as is. But yeah, I really liked him.
I liked him too. My biggest gripe with though is it's another villain.
Yeah.
That was created by Tony Stark.
Yeah. Was that like 6 now?
It'd be nice if Spider-Man had a villain that wasn't. I really liked this movie when I walked out of the theater, but now it's only okay. There's a lot of problems I have with it, and that being one of them. The other one being, it feels like Peter's going through the same arc he did in Homecoming.
How so?
He still feels very amateur. He still does. It feels like we're watching him learn the ropes again. And I feel like we've already seen him do that. And it'd be nice to kind of have him be a little bit more of a seasoned hero. I know it's only been like 8 months since Endgame, but like.
While I don't disagree with you, I feel like that would be more of a third movie type thing for him to emerge as a seasoned hero. Like, because I felt that he was a bit more seasoned, but you're right. There is still like, he's messing up and there is some, amateur mistakes and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with that.
Because the first time you see him, where was it? Oh, it was in Venice. He was it was helping out Mysterio in that first water elemental fight.
Yeah.
He didn't really do much.
He held a building up with his feet.
He also ran into a bell in the bell tower twice.
Twice, yeah. Yeah. I thought the action in this was great.
Yeah.
Some of the coolest Spider-Man stuff I've ever seen. Like just really inventive ways he's using his webs. Like I love that part, like what you were just talking about when he initially starts trying to help out Mysterio with the water elemental. Yeah. And there's like half that building falling and he like does like these weird flips where he's going in and out of the windows as he's webbing the building up so it doesn't break apart. I really thought that was cool.
I like how they do the webs in this one where it's not just constantly a string.
Yeah.
Like this one, like it almost fans out like a wide spray of web.
Mm-hmm.
So
And there's some cool gags that he does in the London Bridge sequence at the end, as far as like lifting cars and just like using webs as like slingshots and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought the action was great in this.
Yeah. If you know Mysterio, you know that he does a lot of like trippy illusions to kind of like throw Spider-Man or whoever his target is off balance.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of sequences that were really cool in this.
Yeah, oh man, let's talk about that sequence. The main sequence is Peter has finally figured out that Mysterio is not who he says he is, and he realized it's after he's given
him the glasses.
Total control of the Stark network. And so he goes to warn Nick Fury, but that's all an illusion. So then he enters into this very comic booky, very Doctor Strange like illusion that Mysterio creates, where it's kind of like the fear sequences in the Arkham Asylum games.
Oh yeah.
With like the giant scarecrow and stuff. Yeah, so very trippy. It's very cool.
Yeah, like at one point, like everything's black around him. There's a green smoke on the floor, and then like almost like a hallway just kind of like rushes towards him. It's really cool. And there's like a point where he's in like a hall of mirrors, and then the Spider-Man in the mirrors like jumps out at him.
There's one part in it where he is in front of Tony Stark's grave, and then like a zombie Iron Man comes out of the ground and starts chasing him. There's this really cool shot where it's a spider that's crawling. And then as it gets closer, you see the 8 eyes, and the 8 eyes turn into Mysterio helmets. And then it's just a bunch of Mysterios marching.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like really interesting visuals. Really cool sequence.
It looks like they pulled that sequence straight out of a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Or like they do it out of like a comic book cover, you know, like they do like covers for like specific villains, and they'll do like, I don't know, Spider-Man being jumped by like a dozen Mysterios and like spiders and crap. And like, yeah, that's
so cool.
I love that.
And that ends with the double fake of Mysterio gets shot by Nick Fury. And then Nick Fury's like, who else did you tell?
I know you told someone.
And so he tells Nick Fury, he's like, you're an idiot. I'm Mysterio, obviously. And then Mysterio pushes him in front of a train, basically, or walks him in front of a train.
Mm-hmm.
Cool sequence.
Pretty convenient timing.
You want to talk about Peter?
Yeah, sure.
I thought he was the best part of this movie. Again.
Yeah, 100%.
Once again, like he doesn't feel, to me anyway, he doesn't feel as inexperienced or young as he did in the first Homecoming, but he still feels like a kid, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Like he's still naive.
I think my favorite part of this movie might be, or of Peter, might be his relationship with MJ or Michelle.
That was really well done because it's very PG. It's very cute.
Yeah.
And not in a cheesy way. And like it ends with them having a kiss for the first time, but it's like a peck.
It's
like,
awkward. Yeah.
It's an awkward first kiss. It reminded me of my first kiss. Like I'm sure it reminds lots of people of their first kisses. But
I think MJ kind of grew on me for this movie because like I wasn't a big fan of her character in Homecoming. But
she was kind of just like a nothing character. Like she was just in the background sarcastic.
Yeah, just full of sarcastic one-liners.
Yeah. And I wonder if they didn't have a plan for her. Because I heard this story of they were just casting parts and they're like, oh, we really like this Zendaya girl. And then the casting director's like, you realize she's kind of a big thing, right? And they're like, what? No, really? So I wonder if that initial Michelle character was just like a character in the movie. And then they're like, well, maybe we should keep Zendaya around. Like she could help sell the movie and movies in the future. So I wonder if they built her part based on her fame.
I wouldn't be surprised.
She definitely grew on me. She was more of a character, more of a person.
Yeah.
In this one. I liked that she figured out that Peter was Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Although I kind of wish that had not been in the trailers.
Yeah.
Like the moment of her being like, you're Spider-Man. Yeah, that was a good moment. Then it was ruined a little bit because I knew it was coming.
Yeah, Sony has a bad rep of just showing off everything in the movie.
Yeah.
Actually, they kept the whole Mysterio as the evil guy.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Give them props where they're due. But yeah, they ruined a lot of the other stuff in the movie.
Yeah, the only thing they kept secret was the one thing that everyone knew.
Yeah.
The new black and red suit, red and black suit.
Yeah.
That was cool. I like that that Stark Happy just has a Stark aircraft that has a suit generator built into it.
And he's just allowed to take that whenever he wants?
I mean, I guess it was emergency.
Emergency. He needed a ride home.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. They showed off him kind of building his own suit, doing little mods to the Stark suit that he was originally given, the blue and red one.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. It kind of showed off his smarts a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen a lot of that.
No. I'm trying to think. Well, in this movie, there were some. There was like him figuring out Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think MJ did most of the heavy lifting with him.
And to be fair, they found one of the projectors from one of the drones,
Mm-hmm.
and it literally showed them
Mysterio. Yeah.
So
Well, there was that bit at the end where he like used one of the drones to propel himself up.
yeah,
I liked that. That was some cool thinking.
yeah,
Like when he ran out of webs, and
yeah. That was cool.
it's a brand new suit. He ran out of all of those cartridges.
Listen, there was a lot of drones that were
That's true.
being webbed up.
It's very true. Victor, there was no chameleon in this movie. Dimitri was just a guy who was barely in it.
Maybe though, maybe he will be the chameleon that just uses barf all over his face to make him look different. That's the command. Barf on my face.
Hard to hide that nose. Yeah, I think that was just more of our own. Like, I'm not disappointed at all. It's just like, oh, I kind of thought that guy was going to be a
But
thing.
no, you think about it though. It's not like you have a Dimitri here that isn't a chameleon, but it's like it's not a common name, and it's weird to have like
It's a common name, just not in North America.
no, but like it's you don't go watch a movie and you hear people with the same names. You know, you don't see a
That's
Sean
true.
here and then a Sean in another room. So it's like when they use Dimitri, it's like okay, it's either him or he's not going to be in this movie in this universe at all.
Yeah, I had no problem with it. I think we were just expecting it because I had that wicked awesome theory. It turned out to be kind of right, actually.
What was the theory?
Theory was that Nick Fury was not Nick Fury
Oh,
and that he was Chameleon. And I was half right. He was not Nick Fury. He was Talos, the Skrull from Captain Marvel. And
Skrull, Talos, and
his wife, I think her name is Soren.
yeah, they were Nick Fury and Maria Hill.
I don't know if you noticed it, but Nick Fury was a little off in this movie. Like they kind of try to explain away that like he was blipped, so he's like behind the times.
Mm-hmm.
But there were just certain things. I don't know if it's like just that he was badly written or like Sam Jackson was doing a little bit of a nuanced performance or not.
Just a little bit more aggressive than usual.
Yeah. There was that one scene where he yelled at Peter.
Yeah.
And it just kind of felt out of nowhere because it felt like they needed the scene to end with Nick Fury yelling at him.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of escalated weird.
Yeah.
But there was something off about Nick Fury. And it was just performance based. It was not like there was any written scenes where it was like he said something and someone was like, does he usually talk like that? Or, you know, like there's nothing like that. So,
Yeah.
so I was half right.
All right. I give you props for that. What did you think of Tony Stark basically being Uncle Ben in this movie? Because they really show him mourning his death and disappearance.
Yeah, I didn't mind it so much. It connected with the villain. And like even the fact that like in his illusion, it was Tony who came out of the grave and not Uncle Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would Mysterio know about Uncle Ben?
Yeah.
It made sense. Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it, is what I'm trying to say.
That's fair.
I'm a little sick of Spider-Man being so tapped into the Iron Man universe.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully where they left it at the end of this movie in the first post-credit scene, I hope that they are going away from the Iron Man stuff. Hopefully this is like closing that chapter of the book, and the next one will be more Spider-Man centric, and he will be the reason that villains exist.
How do you think Mysterio, because like all the elemental stuff, they had to like program and like make up all those like horror sequences that Peter goes through.
Yeah.
Fighting Mysterio. I know it's a comic book movie, but do you think they programmed all of those?
Yeah.
They must have. That's weird to think about.
When you start thinking about the science of it, you're kind of like, how do they do that? It's a little bit more magical than scientific.
Because you're reacting to his actions. This isn't a pre-recorded render. I mean, it is. It's supposed to be.
And how does he see the illusions? Or how does he not see the illusions? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of questions about his powers, quote unquote.
It's one of those things, though, where you're in the movie, you just enjoy it. And then it's afterwards, you're like, but how does that work? So it doesn't bother me. But yeah, I had those same questions.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one thing I didn't like. I wish was not in the movie. Do you remember the scene where it's long and involved. They make a rest stop, and Peter is told by their bus driver, Dimitri, a secret SHIELD agent, that he needs to go and talk to this chick because they have a new suit for him. So the girl in there is this attractive European woman, tells him to take off his clothes because she's going to measure him for the suit.
Mhm.
So he takes off his pants.
Actually, no, they haven't. Didn't she have the suit ready for him?
Oh yeah, they want to see if it fit or
Yeah.
something like that. Some contrived reason why Peter has to take off his pants. So he takes off his pants, and Peter's romantic rival, Brad, walks in and takes a picture of him, assuming that they're hooking up.
Yeah.
And then he says he's going to tell MJ. He's going to show her the photo. So later on the bus, Peter is using Edith, the sunglasses that Tony left him with the satellite,
Yeah,
tactical satellite.
Yeah.
And he accidentally orders a drone strike on Brad, which is fine. That's a funny scene. And I even like the part where Flash steals the glasses from him.
Mhm.
Peter's trying to frantically cancel it, and then Flash steals the glasses, and then Peter accidentally punches out Flash. I love that. But then they extend the scene for like another 5 minutes of him trying to get the glasses, but then they've fallen off or whatever. And he eventually has to jump out of the window and web up the drone. And it's just such an extent. It's just a waste of time for a nothing scene. Like,
I guess you have to demonstrate how strong those or how those drones worked for Mysterio when it came to him.
I don't know if I needed that explanation.
But then you never see or understand why you would have these drones coming out of nowhere when Mysterio got his hands on Edith.
I don't mind the drone strike. It was that the whole thing was like 5 minutes and it was like a contrived. It was too much. Just cut that scene down. This is just a nitpick, but there's no female chaperone on the trip. There's no way that trip would happen.
I don't know.
There's 2 male teachers looking after a bunch of high schoolers. That wouldn't happen.
No?
Not these days. No. You need an adult female there.
My trip, back in 2012, didn't have a female chaperone.
You were
either.
college students though.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Fair.
Like, would you really want Mr. Harrington looking after your teenage girl? Actually, she'd probably be safe with Mr. Harrington.
Also, that $10,000 camera that he had, he drops in the river.
I think Mr. Harrington was like the funniest character in this movie.
This goofy, like constantly like bumbling around in the background.
Just unaware of himself.
Mhm.
Like I loved, there's a line on the plane and it was just kind of in the background to show how annoying he was. But he said, "Did I tell you that my wife pretended to die in the blip?" Turned out she was with her hiking partner. Oh, the poor guy.
Oh, I love it. Poor guy, but funny. What'd you think about the post-credit scene? The big reveal with J. Jonah Jameson?
J.K. Simmons is back.
Yeah.
As J. Jonah Jameson.
Like a balder version.
Yeah. Why do you think they did that?
I don't know.
Just so that you don't mistake it for the Raimi version? Because it's the same actor?
I don't know. I think they should have done the wig.
Me too. Like, that's an iconic look. It'd be like not doing the Mysterio helmet.
Yeah. I mean, he still has the mustache, but yeah, now it just looks like J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked seeing him again.
Mm-hmm.
Just quickly talking about the theater experience. I am such a bitter old man when it comes to being in a theater with people. Like, I don't enjoy the communal experience at all. I enjoy the big picture and the sound and the comfy seats and the complete darkness. But people cheered when J.K. Simmons returned. And
Like it was some kind of presentation where the presenter is there to receive the applause.
Well, I mean, we've complained about this before, but I was just like, shut up. He's talking. Like, I want to hear what he's saying. And everyone's cheering. And it's like, do you see his lips moving? Like, I can't hear anything. Shut up. Anyway.
But yeah, they right before Mysterio, like, quote unquote, dies,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he's alive. Like, I feel like of all the people that can fake death, be him.
Yeah. It's like him and Loki.
Yeah. Like the only two people that like you can't really trust to die.
Like, you could see their heads explode on camera. And like the next movie, they could just show up again. You'd be like, yep, I get it. I buy it.
Makes sense. Right before his death, he records a clip of his encounter with Spider-Man, but he edits in a way so it sounds like Spider-Man's the one commencing the drone attacks, and he's the bad guy. And J. Jonah Jameson's like, I knew it. I told you. He's a menace.
Yeah, he's kind of an Alex Jones type character, which is what we kind of talked about a few weeks ago.
And then he shows another clip, and it's Mysterio saying, like, I don't know why he's attacking me. I don't know why Spider-Man's like, he just went crazy all of a sudden. By the way, his name's Peter Parker, and it shows a big picture of his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You don't like that?
No. Like, I feel like we have enough heroes in the MCU that have their identities outed. It'd be nice to have a hero that is worried about his identity.
Yeah, they really don't like secret identities in the MCU, eh?
Yeah. You can approach it like two different ways. Like, all right, so now everyone knows who Spider-Man is. He can own up to it and reap in the rewards of being a hero.
So he's like Johnny Storm.
Yeah. Be go about that way. Or it could just be something that they retcon almost immediately in the next movie.
Well,
Like, just no one believes them and they're like, just whatever. But
because I agree with you. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because the last time they did something monumental like that was Aunt May finding out
Mhm.
in the last one. And they did that as a joke right at the end.
Yeah.
And they never dealt with it. I would have
No.
loved to see a scene of them discussing it and her yelling at him for doing, going out every night and seeing that change of her coming to be on board with it.
Yeah. Because there's no explanation of that. It's just, yep, that's it.
Yeah.
There's
And
nothing-
she's
nothing
on
more to
board
it.
with it and they're high-fiving about it. And
Mhm.
anyway, that's beside the point. That what I mean to say is I'm on board with it if the whole next movie is about dealing with that.
Yeah.
Even if they retcon it at the end of that movie, fine. But if it's like the next appearance is Spider-Man is in, I don't know, the Black Widow movie or something, and they just don't deal with it,
Mhm.
then that's when I'll be really upset with it.
I feel like this is a big enough reveal that like they're going to have to address it in the next movie.
Yeah. Spider-Man is one of those characters where it's one of the few characters where that secret identity is kind of precious.
It's part of his identity.
Yeah. The fact that no one knows and he's always struggling.
Mhm.
Like him and Daredevil are those two characters. Like Tony Stark, he had a secret identity for years. And at the end of the first Iron Man, when he reveals his identity, like it fits the character. Like he would
Mhm.
not be able to stay quiet about that.
Yeah.
My point being is that like that's something so fundamental about the character that he struggles with. I think they need to deal with it. I would really hate it if they just swept it under the rug as a
Mhm.
joke.
Yeah. The more I'm seeing with this MCU Spider-Man, the less I'm liking him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because it's for the same reason I mentioned before. It's like they're just trying to do stuff that hasn't been done before.
Mm-hmm.
So like if Sony's done all the things I liked, then it's like, okay, now this is left. And yeah, you could do it. You could do them well, but like I don't like the decisions. Like I don't like that Mysterio died, but still done well.
I agree with you. They're doing stuff, I think, just to be contrarian to what was done before. And I think it's been enough time now that you can start retreading some of the other ground.
Because I don't think people care if you retread ground. If you do it well, then people are going to like it.
Well, yeah. And I mean, we talked about it a few weeks ago, but like there is an audience out there who's like, I would love to see the Spider-Verse, even though they just saw that in another movie. They want to see the MCU Spidey deal with it. And they want to see an MCU Miles Morales. They want to see an MCU Uncle Ben. And I'm betting Marvel will do one more movie with a villain or villains that we have not seen on screen before. And then they will start reusing old villains.
I wonder how long they're going to do Spider-Man movies for.
Well, I saw an interview this week where Tom Holland said he will play Spider-Man until he can't walk anymore.
Oh.
So they have him for the long haul as long as the Sony Marvel deal holds up.
If that's the case, then I would be fine with them doing all this weird stuff. Because yeah, that means they are saving like Doc Ock, they are saving Green Goblin and potentially like, I don't know, Gwen, even Uncle Ben as like a
Yeah,
down the
like
line.
I think if they're gonna go beyond 3 movies, which is what tends to be the typical, franchise thing is 3 movies, and you move on to something else. But if they're gonna do 3 movies and then another 3 movies, I would be fine with they do this one like as weird and as original as possible, and then the second set of movies he goes to college and it's a whole new life for him, where maybe MJ's not the love interest anymore. Maybe Ned's not his friend anymore, or like is not in them anymore because he has gone to college.
Yeah.
And then they can start retreading stuff.
It sucks too, because you got a lot of like not original stories, but like comic based stories for Iron Man, Captain America, and then Spider-Man. It's like you almost get like the off-brand stories, off-brand versions of those stories. So yeah, Uncle Ben, the tragic death, like wanting to live up to like his expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But then instead of Uncle Ben is Tony Stark.
But someone online, I think it was the guy who runs MCU Cosmic, was saying, Peter Parker's identity is out there, if he wants to sue someone, I think he needs a lawyer. What kind of lawyer do you need? A superhero lawyer?
They're never going to do that.
But he went on to say, because he mentions like the Netflix deal where they're not allowed to use characters for 2 years after the show was over with. He said, by the time Spider-Man 3 comes out, if they keep doing them every 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil would be available to Marvel. They could
Is
use
Spider-Man and
Marvel.
Daredevil team up that big of a thing, though?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know
For
they've
sure.
teamed up quite a few times, but I didn't think it was that popular.
Oh, yeah. It's a thing.
Hmm.
It's, I would say, more on par than Deadpool and Spider-Man. Probably as close to like how Johnny Storm and Spider-Man used to have that
Oh, okay.
that bromance
Mm-hmm.
in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, they ran into each other a lot.
I guess because they're both street level characters and they're
Not
Pretty-
that far away. Like Hell's Kitchen is not that. It's like a stone's throw away from Queens.
yeah.
So,
Man, I really want to play Spider-Man PS4 again. You know what? If they had just taken the Spider-Man PS4 story, translated that into a 2-parter for Spider-Man 4 or Spider-Man 3, I'd be 100% satisfied.
I still think they should do my idea because I'm vain like that. No, because I think it would be cool. See Craven.
Yeah, I'd like to see Craven.
And-
For Spider-Man villains, I think Craven falls either number 2 or 3 for me.
I think Craven is a good bet for Spider-Man 3. Not just because I would like to see him. I think he, out of who's left, if they're avoiding what has been used before,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's prime pickings.
Yeah, because like you can go with Chameleon, you can go with like, crap, I'm trying to think of another one.
Chameleon, though, like Chameleon would have been a great side character for Mysterio because they're the same premise. Like
Yeah.
they're lying to the and like Chameleon's not like a, I don't know. He doesn't strike me as like a master planner type guy. Like he strikes me as like henchman with the skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like of all the characters that's left, he's the biggest name on that list.
Yeah, because they're not going to do Venom again. Probably not anyway.
Can't do Hydra Man.
Why would
Same.
you? He's stupid.
I don't know. I thought Hydra Man was kind of a cool villain for Spider-Man. Because it was like he was one of those villains that like he needed like to like outthink him.
Because
think his water
couldn't.
powers.
Yeah, okay.
Or
I mean,
like
if you're going to do that, just do Sandman. He's more interesting.
he is. They've
But
already done Sandman.
been done.
And Rhino, I don't know. I don't know how he fits into this universe.
Rhino, he's not a main villain. He is Bane in Batman and Robin.
Boom.
Rhino. You know who you get to play the Rhino? The Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Holy shit. That'd be amazing.
Imagine him fighting Tom Holland.
Yeah, he's like twice his size.
Put some lifts in his shoes just cuz. Make him even bigger.
Why not?
That'd be great.
Boom.
I would really like to see Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. Instead of doing this big, visually stunning villain, just do like kind of a more grounded one. That's how you introduce Daredevil. And I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation before on another episode, but do Daredevil and Kingpin, maybe get the enforcers, you know, like Ox and Fancy Dan in Montana.
That'd be kind of cool premise, actually, if it was just like a citywide gang war.
That would be cool.
Not like a gang, yes, a gang war, but like not the city isn't shut down. Everything's being burnt down, and
It's like behind the scenes. There's a gang war going on.
And
People are
he's-
fighting for power.
yeah, and he's chilling between, I don't know, applying to college and stopping crime syndicates.
That'd be cool.
But you can't do that because everybody knows he's Spider-Man now.
I really want to see Big Wheel, to be honest.
Big Wheel.
He's just this guy in a giant wheel. Just see him as like an opening scene villain
Mm-hmm.
where he's just like tearing down Times Square. Spider-Man's just chasing him. What a dumb villain.
Oh, kangaroo.
Kangaroo. What about the Spot?
Oh,
Do you remember him?
you've told me about him.
I always thought he was really cool, but apparently he's a joke. He has this cool power where like he has these holes all over his body. So like there's this cool visual of Spider-Man punching him in the chest and then his own fist coming out of the Spot's face and punching him in the face. Anyway,
Yeah, kind of got off track there.
I think we're done talking about Far From Home.
Far From Home. How'd you like it?
I really liked it. It as I was telling you earlier is exact opposite for you. where I kind of came out of it as like, I didn't like this. I didn't like this. But as the day wore on, it kind of kept coming back to me. And I kind of have the urge to see it again.
You probably will, won't you?
Theaters.
Let's wait for it to come out on Blu-ray.
Was something wrong with your eye?
Oh, yeah.
Are you winking? What is that?
Don't worry about it.
Piracy is a crime, Victor.
I don't know what you're talking about. F5 movie. I'll probably watch it again, but definitely disappointing. Disappointing compared for all the reviews that were out before this movie, saying that it's the best MCU movie. Yeah. So, whatever. Falls in line with the MCU first sequel.
Yeah, I think I liked Homecoming better, just a little bit more. I think. Yeah.
It just did the whole I'm new to being a hero thing a little bit better, just a little bit better.
It's fair. It's more like a Guardians 2 for me, where it's it's a pretty good movie, but it's just not as good as the first one was.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's definitely not like a Thor: The Dark World or Ant-Man the Wasp or something.
I liked Ant-Man the Wasp. Anyways, let us know what you guys thought of Spider-Man: Far From Home. Leave a comment and let us know.
Who would you like to see in Spider-Man 3 as a villain, if not Craven?
It's definitely Craven.
Or Craven. Just comment Craven if you want.